everybody. My name is Kevin Muller, and I'm one of the critics from Cinephellas. Today, I'm not reviewing a movie or doing the 7 with Kevin. Instead, I am going to be talking about the new Apple TV documentary, The Bloody Hundredth.
They call us the Bloody Hundredth.
Before I start, I would just like to thank Apple TV for giving us access to such great content. It is one of my favorite streaming services. It has so much great stuff. I cannot wait for Severance Season 2. All right, I feel that Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg are providing enough World War II material for history teachers to show in their classrooms for the entire year. Now, this 1 hour documentary, narrated by Tom Hanks, focuses on the heroes of the sky during World War II. There is an influx of recruits that sign up in the beginning of this documentary. They want to fight. You saw this in Band of Brothers in the Pacific. It was a very patriotic time during the era of U.S. history. And you have this documentary basically follows those who wanted to fly the planes. And it's kind of fun in the beginning because you have all these young kids, maybe 17, 18, 19 years old, 20 the most, maybe older. They're flying planes, and when they're practicing, you have interviews of a lot of these guys have passed away, so it's old interviews, just basically expressing the joy of oh my God, this is incredible. We're flying planes, and this is the future. And it's a very nice little section of this very depressing and sad documentary, but I liked it. And of course, this story influenced them making Masters of the Air, which I have not seen, which is also an Apple. I think Logan and Henry saw it, and I think they liked it. I'm not sure, but I remember seeing their review, I think, on the website. Now, with most all these documentaries, you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly is really apparent. You really hear some horror stories of people getting killed, the psychiatric effects of war, and just basically the overall dread of that time when we were fighting for our freedoms. And the title of The Bloody Hundredth comes from the amount of men that were killed in this specific group of people. I think they said over 100 people were in this group, and it dwindled down to less than 20 people. And it's depressing. And you hear in the interviews with the old soldiers, you hear how upsetting it was because these guys lost their best friends, their fellow soldiers. It takes a toll, a psychiatric toll. And that's what I really liked about this thing. And you get a little on the Red Tails. The Red Tails were a group of African American pilots that helped America in World War II. Spielberg, who gets interviewed a couple of times in this, he basically says, these guys are heroes. They did as much as their white counterpart soldiers, and it's a really nice thing. As you can understand, and you can hear in my summary, this is a lot of information to take in. And that is the biggest problem with this show is it's only one episode. It's one 1 hour episode. I would have loved to seen this basically stretched out to a couple of episodes, maybe 3 or 5 episodes, but it kind of robs it by one episode because you're just getting little spouts of information, and you're oh, I want to know more about this, I want to know more. But no, they're just moving on to the next subject, and before you know it, it is over. I was sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is great and great. And then that was it. It ended. If they couldn't give us maybe multiple episodes, maybe they could have given us a 2-3 hour long documentary instead of a 1 hour documentary. There's so much to tell in this story. And one specific soldier and one specific person that I would love for them to make a documentary or a movie about was a guy named Robert Rosenthal. They called him Rosie. And I looked up in the cast of Masters in the Air, and Rosie is in it, but he's pretty low on the cast list. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't in a specific order. I haven't watched it. His character is so cool. I mean, the guy is awesome. He went on multiple tours. He kept going out there and saying, I'm not done. I'm fighting for this. I'm fighting for my country. I love my country. And he goes back, and then at the end, you find out that he was a lawyer before he signed up for the fighter pilots. Not only does he go back to Germany, but he is a lawyer, and he goes over and helps to prosecute these criminals that did all these terrible things to the Jewish people and everyone else. And not only that, but he meets his wife and they fall in love and they get married. I'm like, that is the biggest FU to the Germans I've ever seen. And I think that would be such a great story or a great documentary. Like, I would love to see that. Again, it's an interesting piece of filmmaking. I enjoyed it. And that's kind of like my criticism with it is that I enjoyed it so much. I wanted more, but it was over before I knew it. Maybe I'll go check out Masters of the Air, but I would rather see a documentary style. I would rather see this expanded, or as I said, I'd rather see Rosie getting like more credit. And it's not a bad documentary, but in the end, I wanted more, and it's only an hour. I kind of felt robbed of the story, and I'm gonna give this a solid 3 out of 5 hair pieces. If you are a fan of Rosie, tell me how great he is below, because the guy is awesome. I'm singing his praises. Thank you for your service, sir. I know he passed away in 2017, but he's such a cool dude. What'd you think? Were you happy with an hour? Was that cool with you? Like, were you okay with that? Or are you like me? Did you want more? Let us know below. Come visit the site. We're doing podcasts. I'm doing more Seven with Kevin, and I'm also going to be reviewing Feud, Capote versus the Swans, which just ended on FX. I'm Kevin Muller. This is Cinephellas, and as we say on the site, cheers.